I would really like to make a matching test, but I'll maybe see what I can do for you.
I hate math.
All right, ready?
Hold on, wait.
So,
I have to write that down.
what I'm going to do, you guys have just written down what the sine, cosine, how they relate to each other. That was actually, I gave you guys that, but on page 280, you guys can write those down if you didn't remember them from geometry. But if you guys remember just what a triangle is, you have your hypotenuse, you have your opposite side of theta, and you have your adjacent side. All right, so here's my right angle. So for this problem, for your questions 1 and 3, all I want you guys to get used to is, 1, finding the 6 trigonometric functions. So we know our hypotenuse is 13. Our opposite is going to be 5, but we don't know what our adjacent is, right?
Yeah.
So we have to go back and start thinking of good old Pythagoras to go ahead and find our adjacent side. So remember, Pythagorean theorem says a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where a and b are going to be your 2 legs of your triangle. So a squared, let's pretend we don't know a, we'll say that's the adjacent. So we say a squared plus 5 squared equals 13 squared. So we have a squared plus 25. You guys should have up to 15 squared memorized, right?
What?
So
No.
13 squared is 169.
Right. I got it all.
Okay. Then I'm going to subtract 25. A squared is going to equal 144. Now I'm going to take the root. A is going to equal 12. Okay, you guys also could have known, if you would have remembered your special triangles, special right triangles, or not special right triangles, but your perfect, or your, I forget what they call it, they're square triangles. You guys should know this is a very common triangle because, you know, each side is even and it's a right triangle. So, I can't remember the name of the triangles. Cut me off the head. But this is a very common triangle. What? You don't remember? Okay. It's a very common triangle for you guys to be we constantly use. So from here, if I want to find the 6 trigonometric functions, guys, if I want to find the 6 trigonometric functions, I just need to remember sine. I'm not going to go through all these. Actually, I mean, well, remember sine is opposite over hypotenuse. If you guys want me to write this up there.
So it'd be 5. What is that?
You guys don't remember SOHCAHTOA?
Oh, I do.
Okay.
Miss Sandler taught us
SOHCAHTOA, just yes, real quick. SOHCAHTOA. Ladies and gentlemen, I have way too many people talking right now. I just need to be the only person going through this, okay? I understand a lot of you guys want to mention things next to me. Just let me go through this. Sine represents opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine represents adjacent over hypotenuse. Tangent represents opposite over adjacent. Okay? If you don't know it, write it down. It's something that's very helpful. Like I said, that note card that you guys have created, this would be something that would be very easy for you to write down on there as well. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse. That is opposite over hypotenuse from my angle theta. So I look at my opposite side is 5 over my hypotenuse, which is 13. Cosine is going to be adjacent over hypotenuse. So my adjacent side is 12 over 13. And tan is opposite over adjacent. So that's going to be 5 over 12. Now, the next thing it says, don't just find the 3 trig values, find all 6 trig values, correct? So I need to look at, well, what is going to be my secant, my cosecant, and my cotangent? Well, the reciprocal of sine is cosecant. So that's going to be hypotenuse over opposite. So I say, where's my hypotenuse is 13, over the opposite is 5. And what you guys also notice, without having to always do this math, those are reciprocals of each other, right? Remember we talked about that? Sine is the same thing as 1 over, 1 over sine is the same thing as cosecant. 1 over sine is the same thing as cosecant. They're reciprocals of each other. But I'll just write them out for you guys. Secant is going to be the same thing as opposite over adjacent. So that's going to be hypotenuse. Jeez. Hypotenuse over adjacent, which is going to be 13 over 12.
So you're basically just flipping them? Yep.
Basically, yes, they're reciprocals. And so my cot, or as we call cotangent, is going to be your adjacent over your opposite.
Don't erase that.
I'm not gonna erase it. Does everyone see? Does anybody have any questions? So for those first three, like that first 2 pounds, that's really all basic you guys gotta do. But remember, the main important thing I want you guys to understand is Pythagorean theorem is not gonna go away. You guys still are gonna be asked to be using this without explicitly being said, you do the Pythagorean theorem. You guys have to keep this in your back pocket and be like, bam, I know what the Pythagorean theorem is. I gotta use it.